Silvestre, you jump aboard Apache Pass for a Pierron up to 1650. You had a spin around on him over 1,200 metres, obviously short of his best, but how do you think he ran?
Yeah, he ran a good race, and he's an easy ride, and we hope to get a better look this time, and he can do things in the right way.
You've obviously watched his replays, particularly that run a few back when he was carrying a light weight and probably should have run. Do you see him challenging again for the win back up to 1650 this week?
I think so. I can't see the problem with the trip, and with a good gate, you can choose where to go forward or go back with him. And the horse is in great form. Pierre's stable, is in good form, so I just look forward for it.
It is only a small field, and sometimes they can be certainly tactical affairs over the 1650 on the all-weather. Does that barrier draw, even though you've got a lightweight, make it a little bit trickier?
Yeah, sometimes can do, but when you carry lightweight and you can do things a bit more easy, could make the other horses work a bit hard and hope to pay off.
What about his trial the other day on the all-weather behind California Spangled?
And I was pleased with the trial. It looks like it was a strong trial, but he answered me every question, so now we look forward to.
Lyle, Golden Bull, 3 starts for 3 placings, and you jump aboard him for the first time this weekend. So off those replays, how have you found his form to be?
Yeah, well, firstly, before his last start, I gave him a gallop down the back of the grass because Zach was at the time medically indisposed and sort of was on the bench and waiting. So I got a feel of him then, and when I galloped him the other day, I went with a partner, and I quite enjoyed the fact that he was a lot sharper and a lot stronger when he had the company. So he's a horse that manages to do both. And then, like you say, comparing to his races, I think circumstantially he's had a few things go against him with a runaway leader holding on to win. He had to work quite a long way up the straight, and his other runs weren't in vain. So I think he's probably a horse that's improving, and although he's pretty decent at the 1200, the first gallop I gave him the turf, my opinion was 14 could suit him better. So yeah, he should be very competitive.
You mentioned his work during the week. That was with one of his unbeaten stablemates there, Nordic Dragon, so you were happy with how he's felt?
Yeah, look, obviously the companion was just going out to do his own gallop behind us, and but I must say the way he travelled and with the company, how he was competitive. I know that if he's nice and relaxed in the race, when push comes to shove, he'll put his head down and go again.
He drops a little bit in weight this weekend, and he's come up with a similar sort of draw barrier number 9. Do you just happy to ride him where he sort of feels happy and find his rhythm?
Yeah, I'll have to chat to Danny. Of course, he does have the tactical speed, so if we need to use that early to get a position, it's possible, but he might also be a horse, especially stepping up in trip, that we want to settle in the first part of the race. So we'll have to dissect the race a bit more, but versatility is probably one of his strengths too.
Zach, sweet encounter, a horse that you've jumped aboard twice now for 2 wins. How have you rated those last couple of performances?
Yeah, they've both been good. He's got a good style. He gets up there on the speed, keeps himself out of trouble, and I think they've been soft wins.
Those last couple of wins off the back of when he was defeated 3 back, could that have been a blessing in disguise for a horse like him to sort of get that experience of having to get through between runners and learn a lot through that?
Possibly. You don't want him to make a habit of it though. He's not the most straightforward horse in the gate, so I'd prefer him to continue to jump well and just keep doing everything right.
He's drawn 2. Is it a case of just letting him jump and find his feet and get him into a rhythm where he's comfortable?
Yeah, I'm not sure. John might want him to lead, so if that's the case, then I'll be pushing to try and lead, but if he tells me otherwise, then I'll do what I'm told.
He's trolled up on the all-weather the other week. Happy with what he did there?
Yeah, it's just a matter of keeping him ticking over, really. Just kept him out of trouble and let him roll around.
Of the smorgasbord of options you've got for the 4-year-old series, at this point, where does sort of Sweet Encounter stack up against the likes of Beauty Verse and also Packing Treadmill, who was impressive again?
Well, he doesn't have the rating of those horses at the moment, but he's lightly raced and he's still on the way up, so he's got to prove himself again on the weekend.
Speaking of races that have been put on, Viva Shallow going around in the restricted race for the 4-year-olds. You must have been delighted with how he finished off his second start.
Yeah, he's a very progressive horse. He's still a little bit on the chewy. He wants to jump and get on with things. He hasn't really understood what we're asking of him, but once he starts to drop the bit and be a bit more relaxed in his races, we'll see a horse with definitely in triple figures.
Were you worried about him at all second up, considering what happened first up, if that was going to knock his confidence at all?
No, I don't think so. He's tough. He's a mentally strong horse. He's still a bull. He's got a great temperament, so we've kept him intact at this stage. And, obviously we're stepping up. He hasn't been at this trip ever. So he's drawn 11. We'll just be snagging him and switching him off, and hopefully he'll work with Huey and give us a chance to see him hit the line strong.
Quick comment as well on Packing Hurricane, who's got barrier 1 with only 115 pounds on his back.
Yeah, again, a horse, he's slowly getting there, but will probably be about 3-4 runs away before he starts to be competitive.
Casper Skyfield, another top effort in the international with sprint. How did you rate the performance at that top level again?
Yeah, with a lot of merit, Tom. He's been a very consistent horse, always puts in for us. That's what he is. He's tough and strong, and gives us a big effort every time we send him to the races.
He hasn't, of course, won since the 2021 sprint, but where do you feel he's at the moment?
Yeah, he's back in good form. Obviously, we go to the race on the weekend under handicap conditions. He's carrying a big weight. He's run well down that straight a few times already, and shows that he'll be strong to the line the last part of the race. And like anything, it's just a nice race going forward to set him up for his next start, and then we plan to take him to Dubai after that.
You mentioned he's run well down the straight in the past, and in that effort, National Day Cup I think it was, he was a lot handy. That was a smaller field. Could we potentially see him race handy again?
No, I don't want him to race too handy. He'll be back, and he'll be working on hitting the line.
You sent him up to Chungfar. Is he one of those horses that benefits with the more relaxed environment up there?
100%. Chungfar is a godsend for us. It's been great for horses in Hong Kong. Really gets them in the zone, gets them to focus, gets a lot less traffic up there. Conditions are better because we get to work on the grass with these horses, which is really, really good. It's not overtaxing on them, and it certainly helps in their preparation going forward.
You mentioned travelling to Dubai. You're not afraid of travelling a horse. Is he the type of horse that you think would handle that sort of racing well over there?
Yeah, I think he'd love it, Just deciding on which race we go for. It's probably going to be the straight 6, but there's also a dirt there, which he's trialled extremely well on the dirt surfaces here. So I might give him a pre-race on that dirt surface to see if he handles it well. But at this stage, we go for the straight 6, the Alquois Sprint.
What about KURPANY? He's in the races well. Where's he at the moment? Is he on an awkward rating?
Very awkward rating on 107. There's not many races for him. But, I see they put one race on at the Valley, a 110 race, so we'll be targeting that race for him in early Feb.
You're happy enough with his recent trial down the back straight at Chungfar?
Yeah, he looks good. He's in good form. They're probably just a little bit too classy for him because he won those races and got so high up in the ratings that it becomes tough once you do that, So like anything, what goes up must come down, and we'll just see. As long as there's some races put on for these types of horses, then you can pick and choose and give the owners some chance to get some stake money, because it's quite expensive in Hong Kong now, paying for these horses, and we certainly want to have some opportunities where they get a chance to race for the clients.
Dragon's Luck, the unbeaten 4-year-old by Sabuk. He's been a real fighter. He's looked pretty professional, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. We've had an opinion of him from day one, and he showed that in his trials, and his track work got stronger. And of course, winning on debut from a wide draw was impressive, but then to step up in class and from a wide draw again on what on the day turned out to be not a front runner's track, he pulled off another victory. So that was really promising. He's a nice strong horse, so a bump up in the weight isn't too much of an issue at this stage, but it is going to be a competitive race, of course, and we're just hoping that he can continue his upward trend.
Did you notice any differences in him physically, mentally, going from start 1 to start 2?
Yeah, he's a lot stronger. His track work, not much will match him when they get up sides. He's also a little bit aggressive in his work, but what's so great is that in a race, he just has a much more professional mindset. So his speed is there, tactical speed's there, and I believe that he can settle as well. We've seen him in front nice and settled, but I believe that from what we've done in the trials, he's also showed that he can just come from behind that front speed, which gives us more options.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because he's got an extra 8 pounds this week to carry, and he's got a middle of the line draw, but there's also an alternate leader in the race in the form of Superb Capitalist, so he doesn't necessarily have to lead, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily have to, but of course, like I said, he's managed to get over from the widest gates with relative ease and cross some quick horses. So of course, he can still be positive, and at least then we have plan A, B, and C once we've jumped out well.
In time, do you think when the time is right, do you think he'll get up over a little bit more ground as well?
That's our plan.
And the reports from the stable have been good?
Yes, I know that he gives, like I said, when he wants to get competitive, when he gets up to another horse in his work, and he's made Dougie sweat a few mornings, so that's a positive.